What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is relatively flat, so not really much going on. 281 the low, 289 the high. So it did show some signs of it wanting to kind of break out with the broader market. But it did bounce off of a very key resistance. So I'm going to go over the technicals. At the same time, you're seeing kind of low volume. So 27.6 million shares being traded, 83.4 is the average. So you aren't really seeing that much buying associated to Lucid. You are seeing short returns. So I'm going to talk on that in a second, but only 4 transactions on the secondary market above $100,000. 3 of them are sells. So not necessarily what a lot of people were really anticipating how this was going to play out, but no official news from Lucid itself, no SEC filings, so it is just simply piggybacking off of the broader market. There's a couple of things that did come out. Both Lucid Oasis as well as 𝗪𝗧 did post this. So it looks like Lucid is at Leap 2025. That's going to be between I believe the 9th and the 12th. On the 12th, this is where Faisal is going to be speaking. So on the 12th, between 4:40 and 5:10. So that might be one of the last ones, possibly. But nonetheless, it does look like they have a pretty good setup, a nice booth. A lot of good pictures was posted by 𝗪𝗧. As I mentioned, pop over to Twitter or X, give them both a follow. A lot of good information on here associated to Lucid. But yeah, this is a very good booth. And yeah, aside from that though, that's pretty much it. The only other thing that did come out that's kind of interesting is this. So there's basically like a minute video. No reason to go out and buy Lucid or sell, but it just goes to show that Lucid, in at least Saudi Arabia, is having fun. I don't know so much about AMP1. They seem to be a little bit more tight knit. You don't really see any pictures coming out from the facility, whereas in Saudi we've already seen possibly that mid-size or even second variation of the Gravity, kind of hints at that. So that's definitely a unique circumstance. So yeah, I think they're just having more fun out there. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Aside from all of that though, shorts are returning 574,000 shares today. 22.93% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 273.2 million shares overall are being shorted. So when it comes down to today, this is now the 5th consecutive day of shorts returning. So in my opinion, that kind of signals maybe something is coming, possibly. I'll leave it up to you guys to kind of determine that or whatever, but utilization on a side note is 93.5, and through IBKR does indicate in excess of 10 million shares is available to be shorted. So there's a lot of ammunition there. If they really wanted to double down, they could, but they're not for 5 consecutive days. Even looking at what happened first thing, they were increasing roughly around 800,000 shares, 870, and since then they've been returning. So yeah, it's an interesting scenario. Moving over to options though, 302,000 in calls, 178 in puts. 49% of all the options being done are bearish in nature, and aside from that, just low volume once again. So on Friday it was only 717,000, day prior 814. So far today is 508,000 in total premiums. So nothing really crazy, like I said, and the stats, it's whatever, it is what it is. So hopefully Lucid does close green because they're on so far a 3-day streak of reds so far. So it'll be nice to kind of switch that up. But of the call options that are being purchased, you see consensus for it to be roughly around that 350. And you are starting to see more and more options from the week of their earnings, so ending February the 28th. And honestly, I'm very surprised by Lucid because you don't see that much optimism aside from 350. That seems to be kind of where it peaks out at. And so, yeah, what's your viewpoint? Do you think it's going to be above 350 by their earnings, or do you think it's going to break below that? Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 250 from what you can kind of see based on this. So it's going to be a fun time. As what we've seen, I think even more specifically today with McDonald's, they had, I think, the highest loss in like the last 5 years. So, but they did give good future guidance, and now they're up like 4.5%. So the market is only valuing future guidance. So I know I've stated this in the past, but Lucid really does need to come out and give their A game. Don't go be like, hey, you know what, we're going to do 10,000 and just maybe we'll adjust later down the year. They can't do that. They have to come out strong. They have to come out with at least 25 in my opinion, and they have to also not be vague on the Gravity. They can't be like, well, we're just going to do as much as there is demand. Peter unfortunately used that wording in the past. I absolutely hated that when he was asked how many they are going to be doing potentially for Gravity in 2025, and he just said, well, we'll give a more definitive number later, but we're just going to do as many as demand fulfills. So yeah, really hope that he doesn't state that, because then I would agree with the bears that we are going to see sub 250. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that, with it at $2.84, it is trading between the R1 and the pivot. So this 283 so far is holding. That's going to be a strong support. So for the rest of the day, just watch for that to hold, which right now it's kind of on right now. So 299 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And then flip side, 268 is going to be the following support level. So it's kind of just stuck in between both of those. With it at 283 though, it is still luckily enough above the 50-day moving average. And we know in Lucid's case, that's a very, very big deal. So some points to watch for: the 100-day moving average is at $2.78. 276 is at 50-day moving average. So that is a very strong support level. So both of those. And then flip side, you have the 200-day moving average at 295. So most likely it's just going to trade within that range, but definitely today is interesting because the broader market is pretty much breaking out Trump's latest tariff, where he did impose a 25% on, I believe it was steel and also aluminum products. Market's loving that. And so other EVs are kind of piggybacking off of that, with the exception of Tesla, but I think Tesla is encountering their own personal problems. Even Rivian is up 3.77%. So definitely today's trading is very abnormal. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid. Are you buying the dip? Are you selling? What is your general thoughts on Lucid? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, I have a free Discord. Pop over there, link in the description below and also the comments. A lot of good people, a lot of good chat, so definitely worthwhile to go over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.